Hello everyone and welcome back to my podcast. My name's Darren Connell and this is Straight White Whale. The podcast is going to be sponsored by McTassos, a beautiful Greek van run by a nice family, and they sell delicious food. I don't know if you've been listening to the podcast recently, but it's really, really nice food. They've got a place up at Kelvin Way, the Fort, and in Buchanan Galleries. So good, cheap, affordable gyros. Getting about it. Paul, how are you? It's good to be back.
I'm good, mate. I've just realised that I don't have the McTassos logo on the TV behind you, but we've mentioned them, and I'll put it on. I'll put their wee advert on the screen, mate.
Yeah, that's all right. I said a couple of weeks ago I was going to suck knobs for it. What else do you want, McTassos?
Mate, I've had so many messages about that fucking clip that we put out. People just laughing emojis, which is, you know, the white men's reply to Instagram stories. I think that means they want to shag me. But I had so many people being like, "They promos are fucking hilarious at Darnsden, mate." So
oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. I think McTassos are happy as well because people are gone up.
Are they?
Aye. And they're like, why, we get it.
Like, Straight White Whale, mate. I've been watching that podcast. That's class, but
the cult of Straight White Whale. So what's been happening? This is the 23rd of February. Some massive news yesterday that I was very happy about.
What's that?
The bold Nicola Sturgeon is going to be lifting all restrictions on March the 21st this year. So that will mean no masks in Asda, so you don't get anybody annoying you anymore talking about David Icke. You can book a holiday and you can just go to a pub and all the stand-up shows will return back to normal.
Get back to wanking guys underneath the stalls in the public toilets. You can get back to being the mouth at the other side of the glory hole.
Exactly.
No COVID passports.
They've got a toilet up in Kelvin Way, and one time I went in for a piss and a guy gave us mad eye contact and I just done that, mate. I'm no on that side, mate.
Unless he's got gyros in his hand.
Then I would suck his fucking helmet.
Suck his life out his bobby.
So how are you feeling about Nicola Sturgeon doing that?
You know, I don't care, mate.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I am happy, man.
It's made very little difference to my actual life, and obviously outside of lockdowns,
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that, well, it looks like we're now coming out the other side of COVID, like actually, instead of just, you know,
Yeah.
people wanting to just say that because they want to wish it into existence.
Yeah.
But as far as like the COVID passport, I've never been anywhere where somebody's like, you need your COVID passport. Wearing a mask, I don't mind. Means you don't need to smell fucking people's honking breath. But I'm happy that we're now coming out the other side of the pandemic. I think that the thing that I'm most happy about is I've not had COVID, and the idea of having to isolate, you know, like that.
Yeah.
I think that hits people like
10 days,
aye.
losing 10 days wages and stuff.
Aye, mate. And I'm self-employed, so that's
Yeah.
like a nightmare to me. You know what I mean?
So happy days, it's good times ahead. That sounded like a fucking theme tune to something there, didn't it? Good times ahead. No, I'm having a stroke, sorry. I'm buzzing. I'm just happy, man. I was gigging at the weekend. I was gigging at the Glee in Glasgow on Friday and Saturday, and it was full capacity gigs. And it was like the Glee's 350 capacity, I think.
Right.
Friday wasn't sold out, but there was probably close to 300 people. And Saturday was sold out. And see, to walk into a venue like that, I've done lots of gigs to many people, but that was the first, because the stand's only 200 capacity.
Right.
So to walk into a full venue, I was like, fuck, man. The nerves hit me.
Right.
Nobody was wearing masks, and I want that to happen. I want life to go back to normal, but it was just a shock to the system.
How did you go down, mate?
We're all pals, aren't we?
Aye.
Friday, I was very, very nervous.
Right.
Saturday, I smashed it.
Superb, mate.
So, but I believe that I smashed it on Saturday because I was annoyed at myself. I done enough on Friday. I done enough.
Right.
I passed. But I walked off stage thinking, I'm a cunt, I could have done so much better. I was very nervous. I forgot stuff on stage. I pulled it back though. But see, when you're just that nervous, it feels different. And Saturday, I was just like, aye, that's not happening again. And there was some hecklers in, and I dealt with them, and I done really well. And when I walked off the stage, I was like, yes, man.
That's superb.
It was good for the soul, mate. Good for the mental health. See, to have that intense feeling of nerves and feeling like, just like putting your body through that again, because I've been living in a lockdown for 2 years, not doing anything for stimulus or anything like that. I was like, I'm back. It's like cold water therapy. Cold water comedy.
Try and do stand up while you're in fucking, what is it, needs to be below 3 degrees. That's what they should do, mate. That could be a fucking, that could be a bit. You go in the tub, you clasp your hands, you do the Wim Hof breathing. So, Pat and Mick walk into a bar.
Anybody got a Yazoo? I know people that do that, right? And I've been seeing a lot of them recently, and they've been tossing me growlers. I'm like, hey, I fucking told you I went and done it, and I enjoyed it.
Fuck him, mate. Fuck him. What about the Queen?
The Queen, aye. So we'll get to the Queen in 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'll edit that.
Very, very... No, don't edit it. It's all good. You're my baby, and I love you. Don't edit it out, please. Yeah? Joe doesn't do that way.
To Jamie.
To Jamie.
He just bullies him, mate.
Oh, well.
I get kisses.
You bully me, it's the other way about.
No, I don't.
But it's very, very good to get back into stand-up comedy and to get a purpose again. I feel like it's gave me an energy and it's gave me this life. It's just, see, when I started doing this podcast, mate, see, when I came in here, I actually wanted to kill myself. Honestly, mate.
Oh, really, mate?
Right at the start. It was in the background. I never seen a way out. When you've got something that's so regular in your life that is stand-up comedy, to get it all took away and it's no your fault was just such a strange feeling. Because if I fucked it, I would have accepted it. But I was like, my life seems to be fucking up, and for once, it's no my fault. So I just came in here and I felt like I had a cloud over me, man.
Aye, mate.
I'm so fucking glad that we've done this together.
Oh, good, mate.
It's been good for me, mate.
No.
I feel like I'm pure awkward.
No.
An awkward... I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Eye contact, we're pure intense here. No, but, mate, I'm a therapist. I have these intense, what people would say, awkward conversations with people all the time.
Yeah.
You don't need to feel awkward about telling me shit like this. Or
It's not exactly telling you, it's saying thank you.
Right.
That's what I'm...
Well,
feel awkward
actually,
for.
mate, I really appreciate that because, you know, we've got a couple of people that we know, like in common through comedy, through me working with comedians doing media and you being in the comedy scene. And I think I kind of knew that you weren't there, you know what I mean? I think I was like, I don't remember having like making a conscious effort to be like, you know, I really want to encourage Darren until maybe like 2 or 3 episodes in where I was like, I remember you saying to me, like, this is kind of saving me a wee bit, and I'm thinking about getting back to doing stand up, and I was like, right, and I want to encourage this guy because it's like people could think I'm suicidal, or like I'm depressed, and actually you had your full fucking purpose, and so many people are in this boat, mate, ripped away for you by something that was completely out of your control.
Yeah.
And to hear you say that you were back in a sold out venue in Glasgow, 350 people, you nailed it after the night before. I'm like fucking buzzing for you, mate. Absolutely buzzing for you.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. And I can't believe how when you feel bad, it's so true that they say that it's temporary, because I never thought I was going to get away for that. And it was weird, see, when you feel shit, I was like, I know that this is no natural. This is no unnatural feeling. It's just for the time being. And I'm so glad I just powered through, man. That people are actually asking us questions about the podcast. They're through the podcast, they're saying, I want to come and see you do gigs and stuff.
Oh, really?
So, which brings me to the fact that I don't want to give too much information away, but I've been talking to someone about a Scottish tour, and Paul's going to be involved as well, through filming and stuff. And
don't tell people that, mate. They'll fucking come up to me. I'm kidding on. Come on up to me.
No, you're not doing it anymore. I'm an egomaniac. No. But So I'm gonna announce tour dates, a Scottish tour, and we're going to work on something. When, I'm no 100% sure. It's going to be very soon, and I'm working on it. So stay tuned. And Paul, if you want to film it, you're more than welcome. And also, if you want to just sit in the shadows with a mic,
Just shout random shit, just interrupt you, stop you in your flow.
interrupt punchlines, but
Say them before that, mate. You should call it the Straight White Whale Tour.
aye.
I know that you were saying a couple of weeks ago, like, I wish I hadn't called it that. I don't know if we said that off mic or on mic, but everybody comes in, like, you seen the reaction that you got when you come in there. I tell everybody the name of this podcast now because everybody's pure, that's fucking class.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And you come up with it.
Yeah.
So it's your creative name, you know what I mean?
It's grown on me. It's definitely grown on me, and I'm very, very happy. So, moving on for my stand-up comedy, Love Fest. What's been happening? The Queen. There's rumours that the Queen might be dead. Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen.
The Queen. the what's that called? The Loving Cup or something like that? Or something like that, mate. That mad fucking creepy thing that Rangers do in the first game after the new year, unless it's Celtic, in which case they don't do it, which is surely somehow racist. I don't know. Does that make Rangers racist? Fuck them. But no, so she's got COVID. So that
She's got COVID. She's 93. Not quite Betty White.
right, she's made of dust.
Yeah.
Right, but what's the rumours that she's dead?
So there's a Twitter account called The Hollywood Uncovered, and they announced that she's dead.
Actually dead.
And then they deleted the comment. So there's a rumour going about that she's dead. I don't think Buchanan, Buckingham Palace. Did I say Buchanan bus station? Buchanan bus station have no said the Queen's dead yet.
Buchanan bus station are going to announce. People just waiting to go in the X whatever back to Kirkintilloch. Pure boo boo. The Queen is dead.
Aye.
Pure,
I've got a
"Way."
funeral up in Kirky. Can I get an all day ticket? Who is it for? The
You
Queen.
can fucking bury the old cow with Thatcher.
Aye.
Fuck it. No, but
Oh, I've got fucking tickets to sell to Proddies. We can't fucking half the audience.
aye, but I'd seen somebody on Twitter say, I don't think people should be willing death onto an old woman. I mean, she's just an old woman. It's like the fuck up. Like, seriously, she's an evil old bastard, man. Like, she fucking Diana. Like, I mean, fuck's sake, the shit that's went on with Harry. If you need any more proof that, you know, these people are fucking bastards, what do you need? And see, to be honest, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if she dies. Who cares?
It's like the kind of, maybe it's a crazy example to use. It's, what's that big massive, you know, there's like a warhead. Is it Gerlach Head? There's like arms up there. There's an army base up there.
Right,
It's like nuclear war stuff.
Uh-huh.
So when we go, Scotland want to go independent, they want to get rid of that.
Fast lane?
Aye.
Uh-huh.
Because it's costing millions and millions of pounds.
Aye, to maintain the fucking things.
So people that are pro-union are saying, what are people in fast lane going to do for a job? And you're like, you can't really, that's like saying the concentration, what's the fucking Nazi guards going to do? Like,
Aye.
they shouldn't be working there. Like,
Aye.
get a fucking grip.
Aye, that's like a pure straw man, mate. Oh, we need to, it's like, we could create anything. I mean, the nuclear wars, the nuclear bombs that are made at fast lane are useless, mate. They are fucking useless. If they try to fire them, it would be like something out of fucking Acme, like out of a fucking Roadrunner, be pure if they press the button, right? But they're a deterrent, and like, against what? Like, what's the biggest threat that we've got? Russia.
Yeah.
You know the weapons capabilities that Russia's got. They're like sticks and stones to these fuckers, right?
Aye.
So take away that. Oh well, think about the economic impact to the people in Fastlane. Did you think about that when you shut down all the coal mines? Did you think about that when you shut? No, you didn't. You thought about the fucking money, the profit. Like, aye, fuck that. And if we're going to go independent, take your fucking nuclear weapons back to your own fucking country. Why are they even getting stored here anyway? See, if there were to be an attack on Fastlane, Glasgow's toast, mate. We're dead. Every single person within like 100-mile radius of them is gone. I hate that, mate. Oh, but what I also hate is, but what about the tourism that she brings into the country? Like they are sucking us fucking dry, mate. Like they fucking just take. They don't give anything fucking back.
They don't give anything to Scotland.
No, or Britain. Yeah. Like the average person, food banks up 1,000% the last 10 years, and they're sitting there on billions of pounds in wealth and fucking trinkets that they stole off of India and Africa and blah blah blah, and we still give them fucking millions, £124 million a year to them, and a fund for what? Like so that she can pay off her fucking fucking sons, man. Get the fuck, man. I hate it. I think it's a con.
Yeah.
Sorry for my rant, mate.
No, it's alright. I was wondering what that background noise was. I thought it was a fucking scream, but it was a dog.
A unionist screaming into his but
a Masonic cowbell.
Like seriously, like what makes them any better than anybody else in this country?
No, they don't. It's strange. It's I mean, I certainly don't wish death on anybody. I don't care who it is, but they're worthless. They're pointless. And,
I don't wish her to be dead, but I don't care if she's here or not.
Yeah.
What fucking difference does she make to my life? She's on the money.
Yeah.
That I fucking spend. Like it's the biggest con, I think, that it's when we look back and we're like, oh, how ridiculous was it back then? You're like, we're still living in that.
Yeah.
We're still peasants to these people. Yeah. And they've got a family of thousands that get paid to do fuck all.
I remember ex-girlfriend I went out with her when I worked in at Asda probably about 15 years ago. Margaret Thatcher died, whatever year she died. And I was like, she was an evil bastard and she does not deserve a state funeral. She was a cruel, cruel, evil bastard, and there'll be a lot of people in Scotland happy that she's dead. And my ex was like, that's somebody's mum. I was like, do you know what she's done? Like, I mean, I know it's a comedy podcast, we're not going to get
probably find this funny.
We're not going to get too deep into it, but she was evil. She was an evil, evil bastard. From the war to benefits. I mean, even modern day Tory stuff, they've got fucking disabled people, like people they're taking people with cancer off benefits and all that.
We are still living in the aftermath of Thatcher's Britain, because it changed. It used to be that people we were part of something, right? We were all kind of pushing in one direction, like for things like the World War. See if she is responsible for the reason why people wouldn't go and fight for this country anymore, the reason why I wouldn't go and fight for this country anymore. She reduced, the neoliberal dream was to get rid of society and reduce everybody down to the individual so that they could manipulate, and so that it was just about you. You make money. See the guy next door to you, fuck him. And we are still living in that. It's part of the reason why we're failing, is like nations and countries and our societies literally crumbling underneath our feet, because they got people to stop believing in, like, we are on this together, and made it about a competition as a way to make fucking money. It's actually vile when you think about it. And Reagan did it in America, and she did it here. And it changed everything. And she said that her biggest success was Tony Blair, because he destroyed the left in this country. He brung the left into line with that centrist, you don't matter to me. What matters to me is what I can get out of you. Yeah. And I can't get on board with it. And I'm with you. Like, do I think that she was an evil person? Like, maybe not, right? Maybe she didn't know what was going to happen, the ramifications of all the things that she put in. But I think there was definitely a part of her that was fucking greedy and was horrible at the core. And she is somebody's more. And guess what? He's a cunt too.
Yeah. What's his name?
I was going to say Ben Thatcher, but I think that's a football player. But
a centre back for Wolves.
Ryan Giggs. He's a cunt. But no, mate. This is the elite. Like, I think what annoys me about this is that people who have got nothing care about these people who do not give a fuck if they live or die, and That just I can't get my head around that. I can't get on board with people that are like, but she's the queen, and no, but what about the family history? Fuck off, man. Like,
because people will always say, but what about the Pope? I'm like, well, fuck the Pope as well.
Aye.
Fuck the Pope, fuck the Catholic Church, fuck the Queen, fuck them all.
Aye.
Fuck every single one of them.
It's a system that is there for them to extract for people that have fuck all the very little that they actually have. And they did it, even Thatcher did it with people's pride. They took away the shipyards, they took out, I mentioned it earlier, they stripped away identity for people and they didn't put anything in its place. Now we could get into an economic argument about, well, production and manufacturing is cheaper to do in China and India and blah blah blah. And that's the whole one track mind of like, how much money can we make here?
Aye.
But now we're dry. We've got nothing left.
Yeah.
People are now going to food banks to feed their fucking wains, and we've got energy prices that are tripling overnight on people and can't afford it. Yet we are still bowing to this fucking idea that somehow this family are better than everybody else in this country. I just cannot buy into it. I just will never buy it, mate.
I agree with
you. Fuck Carl.
I agree with you, mate.
What else has happened?
I say fuck the Pope. I mean, fuck them all apart from John Paul. He was alright.
He was the
John
biggest
Paul
cunt of them all, mate.
Hey, it's my podcast.
He oversaw...
Fuck
okay.
up.
Okay.
Don't say oversaw fucking nothing. He was my granny's favourite.
The pedo hider.
The pedo hider.
Aye, they shifted cunts about.
That sounds like a good podcast.
Well, we call it the pedo hider, the great pedo hider.
This podcast is sponsored by McTassel's. They've got a show up at the Fort, Kelvin Way, and Buchanan Galleries. It's a Greek family, so you know they would hate Thatcher and all. Go up and get yourself a lamb gyros, man, with halloumi. Get chips in it and all that, and salad. Dogs eat it off the pavement. I says I'd suck a banger for it, and I love Pope John Paul II. So we'll move on for politicians, because I hate that shit, mate. And I'm not talking about Russia and Ukraine either. I need people to escape. When I watch comedy or listen to a podcast, I want to escape reality. So I'm not talking about that shit. A lot of people told me to talk about it. And would you want to listen to Bobby from Scott Squad talking about Ukraine for? I went back to the sauna and the steam room.
Right.
There's a lot of things that I've forgot what it's like, just full of racist fucking bigots.
Right. In the saunas and the steam rooms. Right. How
especially in Springburn and Bishy.
What one do you go to?
Bishop Briggs.
Will we try and get a sponsor off them?
Mate, I hate it so much. It's a great sauna and it's an amazing steam room, but they kind of know me and all, so it's just like, all right, pal, how you doing? You still doing the police squad show? I'm like, it's Scott Squad. Aye, police squad. I'm like, right. Much do you get paid for that? I'm like, what? Do you know Martin Compston? I think I've said this on the podcast before, but because I've put on weight, I've put on a bit of weight, right? And I know I've put on weight, but these cunts just pipe in with their shit, like, and it's always fat people as well. It's this guy in the sauna was just like that. Put the beef on him, mate. I'm sitting there drinking a bottle of water, thinking I never asked you. In my head, I know I'm like, bit ironic coming for a fat cunt. The cunt was bigger than me, but he started saying daft things like, "Why don't you do things like drink more water?"
You're like, clearly it's working for you, so maybe I'll give it a go. You know what I mean?
But I feel like saying, like, you don't know anybody's story. Like, you don't know who I am or what I've done. You
could have a thyroid problem.
Aye.
You know what I mean? But I think that for what we've talked about earlier, it's probably been a part of the mental health issue.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, thanks very much for pointing out what I already fucking know and has been an adverse effect of poor mental health.
Yeah.
Love that for you, mate. You fucking fat ride.
I know. Fat, baldy bastard.
Right, he's a fucking taxi driver.
He was a taxi driver.
You're fucking kidding on.
Aye.
Mate.
I tell you another thing though, I don't know if this is oversharing. I have been oversharing quite a lot. Jump into a taxi driver and I'm like, I'll be like, I was going to top myself 4 months ago, but I've been taking multivitamins. I'm alright.
Doing a podcast. Something, mate.
I was saying to him, I did. I don't know if I should say this, but about a week ago, I was watching Netflix and I was on my bed. I was like lying on my stomach in my bed and I was just scratching behind my neck.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, what the fuck is that, man? So I found a lump on my neck.
Right.
And I went to the GP and I told the GP like what it is and he checked it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go to another GP that's right beside my guy, and I'm getting my blood. He took my blood and checked my blood, and they're checking it for. They asked me numerous questions, right? Because I've got a picture here of me. I don't know if you will see this. You probably won't see this. It's a picture of me at the start of lockdown when I trained with my cousin.
Uh-huh.
I'm probably -5 stone.
Press the
in
button
that.
again, mate.
I'm -5 stone in that.
Right.
And that seems to be common in my life, like 4 stone weight loss, 4 stone weight gain.
Yo-yo. Right, uh-huh.
And I told the guy, look, at the start of lockdown, I lost my hair and all that. And he says that's really common with thyroid stuff.
Right.
So, and see, when I found a lump on my neck, straight away I'm like, is it cancer?
Of course, aye.
You shouldn't Google things either.
No, mate.
Normally, if you find a lump and you Google it, it's always going to be cancer, right?
Uh-huh.
But see, now, if you Google it, it's going to be like side effects from vaccine,
Aye.
all that shit.
Aye.
So you're thinking it's cancer, you're thinking it's vaccine problems. I'm no a dafty. I know it's no that.
Yeah.
So the guy checked the lump and he said, everybody thinks it's cancer, but anytime I check it, it's always a gland.
Uh-huh.
So you've either been sick, you've had a virus, maybe you've had COVID and you've not even realised it.
Yeah.
And see, when your body's sick, normally your glands get bloated.
Inflamed,
bloated. I'm in the red group. I've got bloated fucking glands. So it's either in your neck, it can be under your armpits.
Aye. Yeah.
throat,
about your breast and stuff like that, mate.
or your groin.
Yeah.
And he says, I think you've been sick and that's what's happened. But because I've got health anxiety and I've never had anything like that tested, plus my hair's fell out, all that shit, I'm getting my thyroids checked. I'm getting my red blood cells and white blood cells checked and all that shit.
Uh-huh.
He said if the lump's there in a couple of weeks, come back and they'll get in touch with me within 7 days if anything's wrong.
Right.
If nothing's wrong, they'll get in touch. I kind of hope it is my thyroid,
Aye.
because then I'll be like, you call me a fat bastard.
Aye. Ready-made excuse for your thing, mate, but like...
Thatcher's Britain.
Aye, fucking, that's Margaret Thatcher's fault. Fucking old, but I think you touched on an important point there, mate, and it's something that I deal with a lot with clients that come in and they'll be like, and they'll always be like, health anxiety checking everything. And I'm like, what's the first thing you do when you notice something's not right? And they'll always be like, I Google it.
Yeah.
And I go, right, health anxiety is quite a new thing, right?
Uh-huh.
What did people used to do? They went to the doctor. And I'm
Yeah.
like, right, Google's not an expert.
Yeah.
Right? So, and it'll work on an algorithm. And what seems to be the human behavioural thing is that we go to the worst thing. So it's the clicks. So if everybody goes to the cancer click, then that's what's going to come up to the top, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're experiencing. And I'm just like, if you are genuinely worried, stop Googling, make an appointment and go to your fucking doctor and speak to an expert.
Yeah.
And wait for the results. And when they tell you whatever it is, accept that that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
But I think I read a statistic once, doing some research to help somebody with health anxiety, that if 1 million people go to the GP in the UK with a lump, there's like 5 of them turn out to be cancer.
Yeah.
That's how, but that's probably the amount of anxiety that we have about our health that people go, I think it's right. Like, if you notice that something's wrong, don't worry, don't Google. Straight to the fucking doctor,
Yeah.
111, NHS 24, straight to the doctor, get it checked out. And then you can deal with whatever. If it is the worst case scenario, then you're in the right hands, you're in the right place, you know what I mean? But you're right, mate, got to Google. You could literally go, I've got a black dot on my big toe, and it'll be like, you're dead tomorrow, mate.
Yeah. Perfect example of Google is, see if you don't know anything about vitamins. And you know how you get people that say, oh, vitamins are a lot of shite.
Uh-huh.
Put into Google, is taking vitamins good for you? and you'll get anything from yes, you should take it every single day, to B12 will give you liver cancer and will fucking give you brain cancer and all that type of shit. So you're true, mate. Don't listen to Google. I found a lump in my balls once, and I thought it was cancer.
Aye, so did I, mate.
The guy had to get right in about my balls.
It's embarrassing, isn't it, mate?
Aye.
Getting your balls played with after a doctor. I had the same, mate, and he said it was gristle. And I'm like, I'm no cooking bacon in my balls, mate.
You eating pulled pork?
But no, it was. I went with a pure, and he was like, "Oh no, it's just like tissue, it's like gristle tissue." So I was like, "Right, okay." But that's the thing. Like, you check it, you find it, you go and get it checked out, man. People don't do that. People sit and worry and look at things and go, "Oh, I'm going to diagnose myself before I go to the doctor." Make sure that it is that, because I don't want to go through that embarrassing thing of going up, getting your balls out, and like a GP seeing your fucking willy. You know what I mean? What's the worst thing that's going to fucking happen? Like, he's going to be like, put it in his group chat, maybe. Like,
get your banger out in front of your doctor.
You want to see the state of his balls, man? They were fucking.
Because you always think it doesn't matter if it's a guy or a woman doctor. You're like, I don't want to hit a hard on. See, as soon as you pull your knob out in a GP surgery, your dick goes up your arsehole. Obviously, you're not going to get hard. If you do get hard, then you need help. Especially when you think you've got cancer.
I'm actually impressed that you could actually have the bodily function while you're going through the worry. You know what I mean? Like, fuck's sake, if my dinner's on, I can't hit a fucking hard on. I've got anxiety.
I'm not too sure if I've said this before, but I never knew it was cancer at first. So when I found the lump, I was scared and thought it was cancer on my balls. And I was like, God, if I get testicular cancer. And then it was like, by the time I found it to the time I went to the GP, I felt really guilty about having a wank. So I was like, I don't know if I should have a wank, because is that going to fuck my balls up?
Right.
And I only lasted like 20 minutes.
What, the wank lasted 20 minutes or?
No, to the decision to have a wank.
You're like, fuck it. But it turns out that, having a wank is good for you. It prevents prostate cancer.
If I was having a 20-minute wank, no wonder I've got a lump in my balls.
It's the longest wank you've ever had?
I've been full of stuff and I've went to town. I remember one time, I think I said this on the podcast, I took mushrooms once and I had a wank to a Daft Punk video. Did I say that?
I don't think so.
I've got a stand-up comedian pal that gave us some mushrooms years ago before I was sober, and I drank them in my room through a protein shake. Disgusting, vile shit. And it kicked in, and I watched Daft Punk live in concert, and I don't know why I done it, but I was like, I bet you having a wank would be amazing. But because I was out my tits and mushrooms, I didn't want to stick porn on. My head was a wee bit pickled.
Aye.
And I just started having a wank to like around the world, around the world. But I was like, after a while, I was like, how long's this been fucking... How long's this concert on for? It's like, at certain points I was hard, other times I was floppy.
You look down, you've just rubbed it down to a nub. It's just like fucking burnt. Like,
I swear to God, mate, I had a floppy wank. Like, I mean, I was hard at one point, but at one point I was like, it wasn't even, see, because you're out your nut. Normally you have a wank like that. I was out my nut, I was like that. I think the dog, that dog that's in that video, the Daft Punk video, I'm like, I'm having a wank to a dog. No, I don't even think I fucking
did he finish, mate?
No.
Playing pool with rope?
I was like, man, what the fuck, man?
Carpal tunnel.
I started thinking about shit like, I've got a bill to pay tomorrow, man. Better get to the bank. I'm with Clydesdale, man. You can't get any Clydesdales anywhere.
Oh, mate, that's fucking hilarious, man.
How long have you went?
Oh, well... For the couple of drunk ones that I've woke up with my dick mahon, like you fall asleep, you're gone that long. But I had a friend with benefit, like during the single years, like the fucking wonder years. No, the last time I was single, I had a lassie that I used to see, and she was into like sort of tantra. And she wanted to have sex for at least an hour.
Wow.
And she was into edging, which is like the way that you get into control Like, and she would be like, "Oh, I'll get the baby oil out and I'll give you a wank, but you're not allowed to come for at least an hour and stuff like that." So I think the longest I've went probably like with a wank is like no me myself, but with her is like an hour. But I've shagged on pills, mate, and it's like you're actually like looking at the clock. Like I would maybe just rather just stop and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like you're pure canny. Like there was one time where I mention this on the podcast before where I thought I was coming down, and my missus at the time just got down to her underwear, and I get a pure instant hard on. Like the pill kicked back in. I was like pure, I need to shag her now. And we went that long, she was like, gonna just hurry up. And I was like, I can't, like, I'm trying. The sun was coming up now that way you're sweating. You're fucking pure pissing sweating. Like, fuck's sake. And I fucking shot a load that went oil on my face. Oil the headboard, like hit the wall behind the fucking bed and all that because it'd been gone that long. It was like pure gush.
You've got the fucking comfort of sitting behind the camera as you're saying that. I need to sit here like that. Yeah. Gushing
That's really interesting. Actually interesting, but it was like something that porno, mate. I think I fucking screamed. Like it was almost like if you ever fucking had an orgasm that's that intense that you're like, I don't know if I enjoyed that or not. Like, I'm kind of confused with what happened there. Like, kind of like, maybe that was the pills as well. Maybe looking about going, I'm questioning my existence. Like, what's going on here? Bearing our souls a day, mate.
I know, it was, I know.
Oh, fuck, I forgot the hot sauce again. I put a reminder on my fucking phone.
Is there plenty left?
Aye, there's hunters at it, mate. I'm not touching it until we do it.
Aye.
Like,
I'll need to eat it with something though.
I'd get chicken wings. We'll just put a wee bit on it. I think I'm procrastinating on it because I think it's going to ruin our day.
We could do it towards the end of the podcast.
We would need to, mate. Because it's like you feel like you're tripping.
Aye.
It's like that level. You're like, my consciousness is shifted. Like, it's...
So I get a dab on my finger, do that, 10 minutes later I'm wanking to a Daft Punk video. Can you feel my tongue?
Put a wee bit of hot sauce on your balls.
Oh.
Did you see the Drake thing?
No.
No? Did we talk about this last week?
No.
Was I talking to somebody else about this? So it turns out that Drake, right, to stop being honey trapped, he puts hot sauce into the Johnny after he's shot his load. So he'll go into the toilet, put some hot sauce into the Johnny with his cum, and then put the Johnny in the bin.
Wow.
And there's a story about a lassie running through pure, because what lassies will do, I don't know if this is true, I don't know if it's bullshit, is that they'll shove the used Johnny up and empty it into themselves to try and trap him.
Wow.
So he's resorted to putting hot sauce in the Johnny. So he's like hurting people, but you know, I suppose it's what they're doing to themselves.
I mean, he could just wrap it up in a bit of toilet paper and put it in his pocket and then put it in a bin when he's getting a taxi home.
That's a good point.
Instead of carrying a fucking bottle of hot sauce about him. But then I'm no Drake, I don't know.
You ever had somebody try and honey trap you?
Look at me.
Honey pot.
It's like the holes of eyes here, mate. Come on to fuck.
Everybody's got a type, mate. And by the way, I've got a mate who I won't name, whose missus, he didn't want wins. And she got on top of him one day and just sat on top of him and just rode him until he fucking shot inside her and had a win.
Wow.
Pure trapped him. And blatantly did it. Like, just refused to get off him.
Alright.
How would you feel if that happened to you?
I want my hole.
As long as you get a
I want
McTassels.
my hole.
Feed me a McTassels and you can have my wins.
I won't be screaming. I won't scream when I orgasm. Imagine just screaming when you shoot a load.
Right, would you rather, right, shit yourself every time you have an orgasm or shit yourself every time you see your ma?
Shit myself every time I have an orgasm.
Why?
Because I feel like I could, you know, that could be a sexual thing.
That you could just find a partner that likes that type of stuff?
You could sit in a pan.
What's that called? That's called something?
Scat.
No,
I've
no.
sort of heard.
It's called something where you get a blowjob while you're taking a shite.
Right, this is a filthy podcast today.
I'm going to Google this, right?
We're talking about the Queen dying and then we're talking about me doing shites.
Let's have a wee... But if you get anything else there while I Google what this is called...
I'll go through the stuff. People responded well to my uncle story last week, by the way. Jerry. That dream that I had about my uncle.
Aye.
People were fucking freaked out
Were
by
they
that.
loving it? Oh, it's called a blumpkin.
A blumpkin.
Aye, that's when you get a blowjob and have a shit on a pan at the same time.
Don't ever cut me off as I'm talking about my dead uncle to say I don't mind getting cut off, right? Cut me off, but don't cut me off to say
You knew
it's
what I was
'cause-
doing.
Don't say it's because it's a blowjob and a shite as I'm talking about my mentally ill uncle.
You knew what I was doing.
That
Why
I
did
love.
you bring it up? Aye, so you get a good reaction. That's nice.
I'll need to try that, a blowjob and a shite at the same time.
yeah,
I might
blumpkin.
fuck my back though. Hey, comedy everybody. I'll tell you another funny you want me to tell you a funny story about Jerry? Because we just ended that podcast. It was really fucking intense and everybody was watching it thinking, was that a joke or was it real? And it was real.
Right. We just ran out of time.
We ran out of time. So I'll tell you, how long have we got left?
20 minutes, mate.
20
Plenty of
minutes. Don't do a lot of editing on this, mate.
Right, okay.
It's alright. I'll tell you a funny story about Jerry, right?
Right.
Quick, for people that have no listened to last week, right? My Uncle Jerry had mental and physical health problems through alcohol abuse. He lived the rest of his life with a disability. He needed to take medication every day. He needed to take a jag in his arse as well. Have you heard of that?
Right, was that a vitamin?
No, actual medication, because he's
Right.
seen fucking Jesus coming through the wall and all
like
that.
antipsychotics or
Aye.
something, right?
So I'm 10 years old. It's my birthday, 19th of June. I'm in the kitchen doing the dishes and Jerry bursts through the front door. He's got a bag full of messages and he's like a silverback gorilla, essentially, in the kitchen, and I'm doing the dishes for my ma. And he's like, all right, you'll never guess what. He's
What?
standing there with fucking a bag of messages. I'm thinking, oh, there's my uncle on my birthday. He's there with a bag. It must be a wee present. And I was like, I don't know, what is it? And he's like, guess. And I was like, I don't know, what is it, Jerry? And he done that. Your granddad died last night. I was like, what?
What the fuck?
I was like, he died. He had a heart attack and he died. He's like, he was going to go to Blackpool with your gran and he had all his suitcase packed up and he died. He died the night before he went to Blackpool with your gran. So, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Darren. I don't know what's more shocking, the fact that he did that to you or the fact that your mum made you do the dishes on your birthday, mate.
I know.
That's child abuse.
So he actually died on my birthday.
Who was that?
My granda.
Your granda? Oh, mate. Your 10th birthday, did you say that?
Yes.
Fuck's sake, mate.
And it was my mentally ill uncle that told me the news for some reason.
That broke the news.
So obviously it was devastating at the time because I loved my granda. But looking back in an adult, and I think, why did they let Jerry break the news? Do you know what I mean? How could it not have been my dad or something? Like they left it to the family member that was off his fucking nut.
Why did they not take you aside and break it to you gently rather than it getting announced to you with a guy running in with his messages and you're pure, what am I getting for my birthday off him Uncle Jerry? And he's pure, a punch to the gut. That's what
Aye.
you're fucking getting.
I was like, why are you laughing, Jerry? But then I need to realise he was just fucking mentally ill.
Getting injections in the farter to fucking stop the psychosis, mate. That's
Aye.
mental, mate. Like, I mean, I've got so many questions. I take it your mum and dad knew that your grandpa had passed away.
Aye. So
Right.
my granddad, Jerry ran through and my ma was just behind him. So obviously she must have been sad and stressed and she can't keep on top of him. He's just broke the news.
She's like, don't tell him. And he's like, come through with a pure red button thing, pure, I need to fucking tell him.
Aye.
Mate, it's funny, but it's no funny at the same time.
Yeah.
I remember waking up, I found out my granny was dead. I woke up and I could hear my sister crying, right? Think about how cold this is. And I went, from my bed, what's up? My dad went, your gran's dead. And just left me. Didn't even come through and go, are you alright, son? Just left me. Like, that's my memory. Like, I just remember just sort of going, just started to greet. And then, like, I had to get up and go through for them to be like, are you alright? Just
my
pure, what's wrong? Your gran's like, what the fuck, man?
Straight away I'd be like, is she in the house? Like, where is she?
Just hearing devastation or in the house, and then they wonder why, like, my cousin's granny, so like on the other side, like my cousin's granny, no, my granny passed away and she had cancer. she sat in the living room. It was like a really weird, surreal. Like, I think maybe, say I was about 7 when that story getting shouted through, just pure cold as fuck. Deal with it, wee man. I was maybe a year later. She was in the living room, like, you know, like end of life care. What's it called? Like,
aye. I know what you mean.
They had nurses coming in.
Palliative.
Aye, palliative care. They had nurses coming in, but there was nothing they could do for her. And she passed away, and I was sitting playing Nintendo, and my dad came in, was pure, all right, how's it going? And I was pure, Greta's dead. And I can remember getting like, my dad getting like, what the fuck? You been like that for? Like, blah, blah, blah. And then I think back to the year before and think like, well, that's what you did to me.
Aye.
I'm just taking your fucking example, big man. Like, fuck
You should have done that, one each.
Aye, mate, I fucking should have, man. But
One
I
each.
was like,
You
8 year old.
cunt.
You fucking old bastard, man.
Scottish people are mental with things like deaths, isn't it? I mean, this is just made up, but it's like, you know, she lived in a house all her life, nobody loved her, she was sick, nobody cared for her. I mean, you can look back and laugh at it now, but at the time it was fucking terrible.
You're like, why
Edit that out.
why you looking back and laughing now?
Aye.
Like, fuck's sake, man.
Aye. Or I remember I've got a Catholic family. I've got about 65 uncles, right, for each side. One of my other uncles died, right, and I remember saying to my uncle died, right. A couple of days later, I was waiting on a bus and I was talking to my brother, and my brother was like, well, you've just got to go get on with it and all that type of shit. And I remember saying to him, his fucking body's not even cold yet, you cunt. Like, let me feel sad. You fucking weirdo. Like, it's one of my uncles that I love. He was a good guy and he died when he was a young guy.
Aye, mate.
Let me fucking grieve, you fucking weirdo.
100%, mate. I think this is a working class thing, because if you go back to your grandpa, he couldn't take days off work. So, you know, we get compassionate leave. I mean, that's relatively new. Do you know what I mean? So there was a part of culture that was like, you need to just get up and go on with it.
Yeah.
But we don't live in that anymore. Like, we've got a lot of privileges, and one of them is that if, you know, we can grieve. Is that a fucking privilege? Shouldn't it be? But it seems, you know, but I think like my dad would have been like that. You know, you swallow it back, you push it down, and you put one foot in front of the other and you keep going. And it's like, I don't want to live my life like that, man.
Nah.
I want to feel sad. Like, I loved my granny.
Yeah.
And I love my mum and I love my dad. I want to feel that. Like, if I don't, it's going to fucking haunt me for the rest of my life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It's the process of grief as well. You need to go through it.
you need to, mate.
I mean, maybe your uncle and stuff is not that bad, but your dad, you need to go through that process.
I think you do with even people like your uncle, mate. See, when you're young, like you're a wee boy, and it's not just losing your uncle, it's about you're realising that death's a thing and that you're not going to be here forever. Like, you're actually shocked that you're going to lose everybody around about you, you know what I mean? And you need help to get through that shit. But instead, what we got was like, you know, old men shouting, somebody's dead at you, fucking got on with it. And you're just like, you know what I mean? The other one that I found really funny is that we weren't allowed to go to funerals. Don't know if that was the same with you, if that was a Catholic thing, if it was just my family, but like, it wasn't until I specifically said I want to go to my granny's funeral, going to let me go, like, please, that they were like, aye, okay, because other than that, I wasn't getting to go. I was just like, don't bring the wains, just put the wains in the room with a video, give them some sweeties, some fucking Coca-Cola, they'll be fine.
I missed my granddad's funeral like that.
Aye, just not allowed to go.
I don't think it's because I wasn't allowed to go, it's because my wee cousins were there and I was 3 years older.
Right.
So I think it was like, could you make sure that they're all right, even though I was still 10. But I remember just being left in the room with a Nintendo and we were just like, what's happening? But I'm probably happy that I missed it. I think my wee brain would have been fucking warped if I seen something like that.
But a funeral?
Aye.
I don't know, mate. I think you get a chance to say goodbye.
Aye.
I think there's something comforting about a funeral. Or is there? I don't know. I say to people, like, your grieving begins after the funeral. You know what I mean? That's when the reality sort of like you're like, right, this is it. You know what I mean? And I think that I look back and I personally don't think, oh, I'm happy that I didn't go to that, because I went to that particular granny. I really struggled with I've two grannies. One of them I went to their funeral, the other one I didn't. And the reason that I went to the second one was because I basically asked, like, because I didn't like the fact that I didn't get allowed to go. I don't know if it's maybe because you weren't told that you weren't going. You know, you could have maybe went, I want to go, and they would have let you go.
Yeah.
It was like a choice. Whereas I was just told, and I struggled, mate. I get tunnel vision. Like, I had nightmares, night terrors. I was 8, a fucking 8-year-old. Do you know what I mean? And I remember going to the doctor and being like, my dad being like, we don't know what's going on. He's sitting saying that the things are really wee, but he's on. So it was strange, like the TV, which would be like right in front of me, would be tiny, but I'd look at my horn and my horn would feel huge. It was like the perspective of everything was really fucked up. And he said, oh, that's tunnel vision. What, is there anything happened? And my dad's like, well, my mom passed away. He'll grow with it.
Man.
He'll grow with it. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, so
It's
strange.
pretty horrible, isn't it?
But it's because I never really, I look back at that and I think I never really got a chance to like say goodbye to her. It was just kind of like taken away from me in a weird way. And I think my sister went, my older sister went, but I was left in the house with a babysitter.
A babysitter?
Aye, mate. And I remember sitting there and thinking there at my grand's funeral,
why am I not allowed?
why am I not? I can remember sitting like greeting and the babysitter just being like, what the fuck is going on here? She's a young lassie, do you know what I mean? Maybe like a 15 or 16-year-old lassie that's taking care of us wee guy who's just sitting greeting.
That's crazy, man.
So I think it's like we try and protect kids. There is no protecting a kid for that. Like, I think that you need to let them go through it. You can't be like, oh, it's all right, you know, we don't want to put you through that. I'm going through it, mate. Like, I'm losing my granny. Can, you know, just be like...
Aye, so it's like you go through a massive thing of losing your gran, which is essentially a second ma, right?
100%.
So
mate.
when she dies and you're in shock, then your family say, oh, you're not allowed to grieve. So on top of you fucking grieving, it's like a lid getting pressed on.
100%.
We've only got an hour in the studio today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you like what you see, you can go on the coffee app and donate a coffee. It would be very much appreciated. Share, like on your social media, send it to your pals in WhatsApp. Any support at all would be appreciated. I just want to thank McTassos again this week for sponsoring the podcast. It means a lot, and thank you very much for tuning in. Take care.